Almost falling. At first, I was nervous. My close friend Sage was trusting me to help her across this thing called the catwalk. The catwalk was this log 50 feet up in the air. The purpose of it was for you and your partner to climb up to the log. When you reach it, you were to stand onto it and walk towards your partner and meet them halfway. And she was trusting me to get her across. Of course, not physically, but mentally. Maybe it was because she knew I had already done this task for my first time the previous year Loyalton Middle School went on this trip. I had empathy for Sage because I knew what being on the catwalk for the first time was. It was leg shaking, muscle weakening, and mind racing. Or maybe she trusts me because of my fabulous rapping skills and the ability to make her laugh. My mind wandered back to my chubby 10-year-old self to the year before my classmates started to stretch and grow awkwardly, mentally and physically, to my 5th grade class trip to Headlands. Our class had been separated into two, and I just happened to be grouped with Sage. While our group giggled along the sandy shoreline, where we craved to have the waves splash our toes, doing some activities, Sage found out she had a slight allergy to bees. "Ouch!" screamed Sage with tears mixed pain and shock as she gazed at the size of her pinky, which was growing from the sting. Our instructor Katie simply told her, "Do not panic," as she bent down, sinking her fingers into the cool, wet sand to put around Sage's pinky to help with the swelling. "Are you allergic?" she asked. With a stifled response through the tears, Sage said, "I don't know." And then Katie said to our group, "Can someone please try to cheer Sage up while we wait and see if her finger needs medical attention?" So I started to sing. "I like big butts and I cannot lie. You others can't deny." And sure enough, the giggles started to pour out of her tiny little voice and a smile grew across her pre-adolescent face. I finished the song and Sage was fine, although the swelling did not go down for a long time. In fact, I don't think it ever went back to its normal size, even today. This brought a smile to my face, and I knew that when it was our turn to have the belaying team guide our ropes 50 feet into the air, it was my job to make Sage laugh. So when the teacher in charge, Mr. Fisher, asked, "Who's next?" I made eye contact with Sage, and we stepped forward for the task as partners. When we approached our trees opposite each other, I gave Sage a nod and we gave the commands at the same time to the belayers. "Support team ready!" And they all responded with, "Ready!" Then there was the next question Sage and I were to ask. "Can I trust you?" I knew this would be an insurance for Sage, even though we had heard it on all the other tasks, to get this answer. "Yes!" the group said with a boom. I took a deep breath, and even though my muscles felt weak, knowing the task before me, I felt confident to know what Sage needed from her partner. Confidence, support, and giggles. So I took off up the tree as if I was on a mission. When you're on your way up the tree, you can hear this muffled sounds behind all your thoughts, and those are the sounds of encouragement from the group below. Finally, I reached the base of the log I was supposed to lift myself onto, and I felt panic. Panic because all of my limbs felt too weak to pull my 140-pound body onto this log using mainly my weakish girl arms. So I paused and waited to regain some strength. Knowing I couldn't just give up on Sage, I hoisted my limp body up and straddled the log. But I saw no Sage at the other end. Instead, I saw her about 10 feet down the tree, so I started to get onto my feet very carefully and talk to Sage in a calm voice, knowing that the shouts of encouragement do not always seem so encouraging at times. About 5 minutes later, Sage finally hoisted herself onto the log and stood up. So what was the first thing she did when she got onto this very tall log? Look down. She made a squeamish noise of fear, and I immediately told her, "Don't look down." So she did it again, and I said, "Sage, what did I just say?" And she simply let out a little scared hee. Now it's your preference how you walk down this. You can slide your feet across, or you can do heel toe, but do not lose eye contact. So what does she do? She breaks eye contact. So I say again, "Sage, what did I just say?" And she squeaks, hee, "Don't break eye contact, hee." Exactly, now look at me, 'cause you're obviously not listening, I said in a funny matter-of-fact tone. Now start coming towards me. But she seemed to be having a hard time letting go of the tree she was clutching onto. So I told her, "Sage, you may love nature, but you can't take the tree with you, so you're gonna have to let go. Stick out your arms for balance if need be, and take baby steps. Again, she did a little giggle and nervously said, "Okay." We started scooting towards each other, keeping conversation. I would tell her little humorous things like, "Think happy thoughts. Don't look down. You might burn your eyes." Or when she'd really start to giggle, I'd say, "Sage, this is not a laughing matter," in a sarcastic tone. Then, I guess I said something that really made her laugh, and she started to lose grip of her balance from her own laughing and became very close to falling. Giggling, she said, "Sequoia, I love you, but this is no laughing matter." Regathering ourselves, we finally reached each other in the middle, hugged, and she told me, "Thank you." We let go, and I looked at her, smiling, a feeling of satisfaction, saying, "Anytime." We prepared ourselves to drop off the log, hearing sounds of Mr. Fisher's instructions. We zoomed down the line with a zzz and landed and listened to everyone cheering for our safe return to solid ground.